Hey, good afternoon. It's welcome to Simple Futures, Wednesday, June 29th, market update. That means that tomorrow is the last, tomorrow Thursday is the last trading session for the month of June. All right, so remember the end of month trading rules apply for tomorrow. And that means, I'm not saying that the market goes up during the morning, but whatever it does in the morning, when it hits 1 o'clock Chicago time tomorrow, 1 o'clock Central, 2 Eastern, we're then looking for that walkaway trade, which is to say that there's historically a cease to support the bid, i.e. it's time to be short. All right, so look, all right, and another thing that I should mention about the S&Ps here is that the levels that we had earlier in the week, they're all still exactly the same. So everything that we discussed on Monday remains exactly the same. I'll show you why. And that means like our over-under 38.70. I mean, that's basically the half back now from the high of yesterday into, the lows here today. So I'll draw that fib on there in just a minute. So here's a couple things. This is quite interesting. We are in just Crazyville. Now, this is nuts. Let me explain. Yesterday, Tuesday, we get easily in range, easily 2 times what the market had priced in the SPX options chain for expected move, which makes it like a 2 sigma move well into, it was twice the range. Average range right now is running about 70 points. This is darn near 140 tip to toe. And see, you see this indicator, the yellow right there? That marks the first hour's range. And then each one of these blue lines is a 50% extension of that range. And it's very common, in fact, almost every day we look for the extension of that IB, initial balance, to go to the second extension, and that pretty much marks the extent of an average range for any average day. Back tested this whole thing going back years, and we found the frequency with which we met the first extension, either top or bottom, through the top and the extension on the top, or through the bottom and extension on the bottom. It was like 70%, 67 I think it was on the first extension, and 50 on the second. But look at what yesterday does. It not only makes 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 IB extensions yesterday. You just almost never see that. And then, if that weren't strange enough, we come into, now here on the right, we come into today's session for another really odd situation that you almost never see. This, I could back test over 2,000 sessions, trading sessions, and find about a 2, maybe 2.5% frequency with which you will find today's situation, and that is this market stays inside of the parameters of the range of that first hour, all the way till the end of the day, all the way to the close. So yesterday was completely strange in terms of the range extension, well outside of what the market was anticipating and had priced in, to the options chain. and ATR is running about what was priced in. I think they had priced in about 65 points, and ATR right now is running about 70. And this thing moved almost 140, yesterday. And then we really almost, honestly, you'd never see this. I mean, you could watch 100 days of trading and see this maybe twice. Stays inside first hour all day, all the way to the close. Just completely strange. But where are we, for going forward into tomorrow? Well, you're on the end of month, and that is not saying that we go up in the morning, but certainly whatever it does in the morning, you need to be ready to hit the sell button on at 1 o'clock. And whether it trades up, I was looking for it to trade up a little bit today, to be honest with you, at least back into this little consolidation area period of yesterday's range right there, and then be looking to fade that uptick for then an extension of what occurred yesterday. Given the nature of yesterday, that was really extreme. So you get a little bit of uptick today to fade for an extension of what occurred yesterday. So if you remember earlier in the week, we had on the way up, there was a gap mid that existed right at about 38.70. We decided to make that the over-under for the week, realizing that was not an easy call because the weekly pivot is right behind it down here at 38.30. But what's the sense in having an over-under at 38.30 when you're 3,900 and change up here trade at the time? You need something to trigger your bearish spidey sense before it's 100 lower, right? I mean, that doesn't do you any good. It's like you're 100 lower and it's like, oh, okay, now we're bearish. That doesn't help. So I felt like 38.70 was the right place, and I'll stick with that even for tomorrow. Again for tomorrow. In that, here we go. Tuesday, big down. Tomorrow we could get a little up, and the selling comes back in on an uptick. If an uptick, on an uptick, if an uptick. Then the selling comes back in at one of two places, in my opinion. It's going to be right there at about 57, or on our print at 70. You can see that was the spot. Look at it. I mean, that's breach, come back in, test, and fail. That's the spot, 70. So it comes tomorrow. If an uptick, it comes in from 57 or 70. Could easily just uptick to 57 and fail and roll and puke. If it manages just maybe squeeze through there, then you can look up at 70 and be looking to fade them up there. But either one of those, and frankly, I don't even know that we get to see 70 again. It just upticks to 57 and pukes. And then when it does, you're looking. Well, we just need to worry about. It's just, how long it takes. I don't know, but it's just bearish. I mean, everything's just bearish. I mean, we're going to be looking soon, I guess, down at those, all the targets I gave you earlier in the week, those are still the targets for right now. But, how long before we're talking about new lows for the move, Here's a couple of reference points for you, too, just to kind of keeping, so you got them in your back pocket. When this thing is on the 382 fib right there, when it's on that 382 fib at, like 38.034, that's the point at which the S&Ps are down 20% on the year. Now, the NASDAQ, and thank you for the recommendations on a couple other tickers to talk about too. So the NASDAQ and crude were a couple of those. So I'll start working those in on some of these videos as well, NASDAQ and crude. The NASDAQ's down like 26% on the year. The SPUs are down 20 when they're at this 38.0, call it 5 level or whatever. Bitcoin's down like 54.5% on the year. Oil's up 45%. And the 10-year was up 162 bips on the year, 1.62% at 3.14. So essentially, if you're up 1.6 at 3.14, you're almost doubled, really, on the year, on the 10-year, on the rates. So there's a little reference. That's one. All right. Then 2 is to watch a price that's right in here. Just kind of, you can label it on your chart or whatever. The number is 3809. And what is 3809? Well, that's where, remember, we're in now a September contract. So we're roll adjusted from when the prior contract, the June contract, was trading previously, right? We're roll adjusted. On a roll adjusted basis for the new contract, the one that we're in now, that was the May lows. So we came in, first dip down, slam down hard. It hit what is roll adjusted now, 3809, and then bounced 400 points and then rolled in for the 3650, test that we did a couple weeks ago. And what is that? Remember, that is the low of last year, 2021's low at 3650. And I guess while we're on it, to mention these levels, 3750, if you want to remember, is year 21 last year's open. And so there's some little things to label to kind of keep an idea of, what's going on in here. Tomorrow, end of month trade. It's like when you open in a gap, like a breakaway gap, and you say gap rules apply. Well, tomorrow's end of month, so it's end of month rules apply tomorrow. Okay. And then we go. Friday is, of course, the 1st of July, sets us up for extended weekend, holiday weekend. July 4th observed on the Monday next week, so you got an extended weekend. As soon as you come back for next week, after the long holiday weekend, as soon as you come back, we get a non-farm payroll. Then you get a CPI. Then we're going to get another Fed meet, rate decision. We're going to get Apple earnings, and we're going to get the next GDP to see if we come in negative for the official. Oh my goodness, it's a recession. That's all coming up here pretty soon. All right, so we'll worry about first getting through tomorrow, and then I'll be back with you next week. Take care, and I will talk to you again before then. So have a good, safe, fun, enjoyable, and hopefully relaxing holiday weekend, and I'll check you again next week. Take care.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me